All right, so here's another update on how ProcessKit is coming along. Made a lot of really good progress on it this past week. Essentially, I built out the process editor so that you can add and work with processes and attach them to projects. I'm going to show you all that right now. So I set up a new project. This is like a repeating project that would go through your operations. In this case, it's like a new client that is onboarding, and I gave it a project type of new client onboarding. I named the project using the client's name. You know, all of this stuff, everything on the page, you can just click to edit it in line just like that. I showed this in a previous video, but of course you can have some general description text attached to any project, so you can and we can truncate that, expand it, edit it, add all sorts of information that you need there. And then on the right side, we've got our activity feed. I showed you previously how we can have comments, and it's going to show any updates to this project. But let's dive into the new stuff down here. That's the processes. So I'm going to click new process to add a process to this project. Now it pops up this box. So it's going to ask me, do I want to use a copy of a template, or do I want to create a new process from scratch? So let's start by copying a template. I already created a couple of process templates in my account here. So I'm going to use our new client setup process and attach that to this project. And then right away, we've got our template process that has been essentially copied and then attached to this project. So these are steps that I had previously set up. Now the cool thing is that since this is a copy of this instance of the process, what if this client had something special going on, like we have to add a special step in step number 3, just this once, right? Or just for this case. We can just do that, add a new step, and we'll just add that one step here, and so now we have it just for in this case, but it's not going to affect all the other cases where we're reusing this process. Of course, we can just create a totally one-off process from scratch. We don't have to work off of a template. So again, just for this process, let's just do like special process. You can call it whatever you want. And so now we have like a fresh, clean slate where we can just start adding steps. So step title goes here. And let's add another step. And then, of course, you can check things off. So I'm going to go back to our main process here, and let's start checking off some steps. Now, just like that, like everything happens instantly. That, of course, saves. So you'll notice that I haven't even reloaded the page, but this updated automatically. Up here in the activity, now that I checked off this step, it just logged that I completed this step in this process. So you're always going to have a history logged with timestamps of who did what and when. If I do it again, step 2 is checked off, and now that has also been logged, right? Now this activity stream is going to build over time, and by default, it's going to show the top, the most recent 3 things that happened, but you can always expand it out to see everything that has happened. Same thing if I go in and uncheck, like mark something as incomplete. If I do that, that's also going to log an event, just so that we know like something was marked incomplete. So that's always really important to have is that activity log. Let's see what else. Of course, we can add additional steps if we want to delete a step. We can just do that. Let's go in and start to add a description to a step. So we can click here and go into the description. And of course, we can add a link to it. You can have a list. I've got keyboard shortcuts built into all of these. And you can drop in an image. Let's do that. And you can give it a caption text. More text. And we can have like a sub headline. Let's try that. And let's just add some. Now it will, after you create it or update it, it will collapse by default, but you can always open it up and it will remember your setting on that, right? So if I refresh the page and come back, it'll remember that we wanted that step to be opened. Same thing with which process you're currently active on. So if we want to make sure that this process is the one where we left off the other day, we come back to it today, ProcessKit will remember that on this project, you are up to this step, and we're going to show you that by default. So, I'm just trying to reduce the number of clicks that you need to do to get back to where you were. Same thing with all these settings, like collapsing out the description on the project. It'll just remember whether you wanted that collapsed or not. So that's where it's at. I've got the activity feed going. I've got some process stuff going. What's next? I need to work on reordering these steps. So you can add steps in between steps. You can add steps to the bottom, but I'm going to add some drag and drop reordering of the steps pretty soon. This thing down here is not functional yet, but it will basically tell you when the entire process has been completed, and you'll be able to click this to instantly complete all of the steps. Or I might put that up here. I'm not really sure yet. And one more thing, of course, everything in ProcessKit is mobile friendly. So let's take a look at that. I'm going through and making sure that, if you're using a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, let's go to, a size like this just to show you. All of this stuff is very easily accessible on mobile. So you can always use it if you're out, on site or something like that. You can use it on a tablet, or of course you can use it on a desktop. So if you have any questions or suggestions or feedback, as always, let me know. Thanks.